Welcome to episode 22, ironically dropping on July 22nd of the Right Hand Drive Guys podcast. Today we're going to be talking about, personally, one of my favorite events with the most history for me at it, Import Alliance. And I know you've been to quite a few yourself, right?
Yeah. And originally being from Nashville, I've been able to see like a large part of their them coming up, I guess you could say, from being the small meet to like these crazy huge meets that pack in NASCAR tracks.
Yeah, so we'll get to all of our fun memories at Import Alliance, and like you said, even before it was, I think, technically called Import Alliance. But first, let's give you just kind of if you haven't heard of Import Alliance, check out their website. It's importalliance.org or find them on Instagram. But in their words, what makes Import Alliance different than just a car show or meet is one of the unique aspects of Import Alliance meet is the fact that it is not a car show. There is no competition for who has the nicest paint or best interior or best in show. The cars are built and driven by grassroots import car enthusiasts. Import Alliance attendees range from the complete competition show car builder to the in-process builder, the daily driven weekend autocross competitor, and everything in between. One thing that they all have in common is an uncanny understanding of quality workmanship, as well as a desire to utilize the best parts that their budget will accommodate. The resulting interaction provides for an interesting opportunity for the enthusiast to learn, builder to showcase, and the OEM as well as the aftermarket industry to sell, market, and research. Import Alliance is where the real import car enthusiasts meet. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree 100% with that.
Yeah, me too.
And it's never really been like a car show. It's always been like a grassroots type meet. It's
Yeah.
just like your weekly meet in the summer. It's just all the homies hanging out. Except, well, this brings in the homies from states away and
Dude, at one point, and I'm sure still from coasts away.
Yeah,
Like the group
I
of
imagine so.
West Coast dudes would blue tape the front of their cars
Yeah.
and they would drive over for their summer meet. Like I specifically remember, for sure, multiple times that happening. And because you remember S2KJ.
Yeah.
So once he moved over to Cali, he would rally those guys up.
Right,
because it was right after the IBOC meet over there, and so he'd rally them up, and however many of them would come over, and we just could not believe when these dudes showed up that they just drove from Cali.
Right.
For
That's
this
a hike.
Shit. Yeah.
In the middle of summer, and some of these cars.
Oh yeah. And they're some of these cars are low, some of these cars don't have AC, some of these cars are just beautiful cars you really don't even want to be driving like that. But
right.
yeah, no, I mean, Import Alliance. Yeah, when I moved to Tennessee, I lived in Tennessee in 2005, and it was right before they made it Import Alliance. It was down by the bridge by the Titan Stadium. Those guys would meet up on one side, other dudes would meet up over on the other side, and it was kind of like two separate meets, but one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I first met Don and Squirk and Mo and some of these core Nashville guys. So if you're from Nashville, you probably know who I'm talking about.
Right, or just been in the game for a while.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, not just Nashville. A lot of these guys, period, have made a name for themselves, nationally, in that sense, especially during a certain time period.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, what's your first memory of Import Alliance since you are a Nashvilleian by blood?
Well, the first year that I had really heard of it, I think was 2008, and I believe that was the first year their big meet at the bridge, and that was when I was first really getting into cars. I had my Integra at the time, and I was just starting. It was far from anything I would want to bring out, but I had just heard people going to this meet, and I was just what is Import Alliance? What Import Alliance, like what even is this? Like what is Import Alliance? And I just like finally someone told me, it's like, oh, it's just this huge meet. It's where all these dudes from forums are meeting up. It's all this and that. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. And probably I think the fall meet after that summer meet, I'd went to one, or went to the fall meet, and it was cool. I mean, it was just like, it was just like a local meet, like any of the forum meets back in the day. It was just like that, except with a few more people and a few more cooler cars, from dudes from Alabama or Atlanta or wherever it might be. But yeah, they all showed up, and it was just like a chill thing, and it was, I don't know, it was just cool and chill.
Yeah, like I like I said, in '05 was when I had first met him before it was any of that, but then I moved away, went to the military, moved back in late 2009, and I had like been Facebook friends with Don, and it was just I just followed the whole progression. And at first I was kind of like, Import Alliance, like, come on, man, like what do you mean, like,
Right.
and then I quickly realized, like, oh shoot, okay, you're like
Right, when you first hear
something.
the name, even, it's just like, what even is that?
Like Import Alliance,
Yeah.
what it, but like now I get it,
Right,
like,
yeah, absolutely,
you know,
me too.
and so coming back in '09, and that was the first year. That was the first year that they did the super speedway.
Yeah.
When they had, like, it was like, went from, I can't remember what the venue was before that. It was not the fairgrounds, but anyways, it was the first year in the super speedway, and it was like, oh, like,
right. It might have been the bridge.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, the bridge prior to that.
Yeah.
And so it was like a big deal that they were having the super speedway and having racing going on, and
because they had global time attack.
Yeah, exactly. And it was in, the whole pits were full.
Yeah.
And like dudes were just like wrenching hard. There was that paraplegic guy on the Subaru team.
Yeah.
They would pull the motor, he would rebuild the motor or do whatever.
That was crazy to see.
He was like a beast. Like he had the arms, right? But no leg. I know he for sure didn't have the legs.
Yeah, he couldn't do anything with his
legs.
legs.
But that didn't stop nothing. He could he could work circles around us.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
And I'm pretty sure that dude's known pretty well
I bet.
In that time attack scene.
How could you not when you have work ethic like that, despite the circumstance, And like, that's sweet. So yeah, that was really cool for me because they had a few GTR, R35 GTR race cars there. And they had just came out that year prior.
Right.
Like they was all new, right?
Yeah.
You were hardly even seeing them on the road, but they were at Import Alliance, and you could walk through the garage, down the middle and back, and watch these guys work on these R35s that you'd never even seen. So, that was '09 was a really cool year for me as far as like really opened my eyes and like got me excited about what they were doing, like, and because I had just gotten back from the military, and first one I attended, and I was like, holy crap, like, okay, like, I'm sure you remember, but by the end, not only the whole super speedway, but the whole huge 4-6 lane thing on the outside was insane. All full. Yeah,
like that Import Alliance, that was probably my most memorable one too that I went to. And I remember getting there, and luckily had a homie that, slid me the pass and got me in there. Didn't have to wait in the huge long line, but man, it was insane how many people were there. Like, I
couldn't believe it.
It was crazy. I mean, like you said, the whole inside, the whole parking area was all filled out. Then they were using part of the road course too, I believe, that they weren't using for the time attack. They had people parked out on there. I mean, it was just like... They
ran out of room and went to the outside.
And whenever I went to leave, there were just cars everywhere still. Both sides of the road leaving.
It was like you had the center.
And, dude, this track is pretty big. It's a super speedway. Like, it's not small.
No way. No, like, it was huge. It was crazy, dude.
Dude, so many cars in the middle of summer. And...
out in Nashville,
dude, in the South, it was just
Yeah, it
was
was
madness.
brutally hot though.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
it was like tough, but yeah, I wouldn't take it back for a second. And then, of course you have the after, because it traditionally it's during the day.
Right.
And so then you have after where everybody meets up, or there's always pre and post meets on both nights. Back in that year, was it 1 or 2 days?
I want to say it was 2.
Was it still 2?
I
So
don't remember exactly though.
yeah, and so like a lot of guys, because I at that point was in the Honda game. I was like a Honda guy, and you were still a Nissan guy.
Yeah, that's when I had my 180SX.
Right. So, like with me, the Honda guys were like the PGK dudes,
Right.
in Nashville. So they had this the night before, this pre-meet, and then we all got together the next day to roll to the event. But like I remember, I'll never forget, like it was over at one of the PGK guys' house, and at that point S2KJ was still living in Nashville. And so it was all of those prime cars were all there, like all at this one dude's house, and they're cooking this meat, dude, like, and all these things, right?
Yeah.
And it just was like so surreal, like
Right.
in that sense, like, because coming from where I come from, getting that many dope cars that are lining up and down this cul-de-sac, packed on the lawn, like sick cars everywhere. Like I'd never see that. Like I would never see it.
I mean, even beyond the cars, like just that huge group of homies, just all
sure.
like
all coexisting and like loving it, and it was always like this with, and, shout out to the PGK dudes for always letting me like hang out and come along, being some dude from Maine, but like it would always be, shout out to Bomb, but it would always be trying to get Bond's car started the night before. Like, always, man. Like, it would just be like, I roll up and I'm like, oh, yeah, they're all bent over that K-Series and that dope-ass EG hatch, just trying to get that thing started, dude, every time. But, no, that was, and it's crazy because you look back and you're like, dude, that was like a really cool time because, that was just that one summer meet. One, like, after we became friends and whatnot, we both attended a spring meet, right? And
it was spring.
Was it? No, it was a fall meet.
Was
because
it fall?
Spring was in Atlanta. The fall was always in North Nashville or whatever that is.
Oh, right. But we went to a spring meet as well.
Yeah. But the fall meet was cool because it was a little more like intimate.
Yeah, it wasn't
like,
as big.
Yeah, and I think now they are.
Yeah, definitely now. But like
then it was
back then, it was just like that extra little thing.
Yeah,
just
at
to
the
end
like
of season.
Yeah, keep you going, for through the winter or whatever. But it was in a water park parking lot, right?
Yeah. It was Two Rivers Park. It was also a skate park, so that was pretty cool too. But
that was cool.
It was a skate park and wave pool. Parking lot pretty much, and it was pretty big.
I mean, decent size.
Yeah, it was a big lot for sure. You could definitely park some cars there, but like compared to the summer meets at the Super Speedway, you were not getting that volume of cars in there.
No way, it would have just.
And that's probably they outgrew that spot really, really fast.
We were in. There was only I think 2 there at Two Rivers, and we were at the last one. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And so, there was like a group of guys, like, you remember Matt Tucker?
Yeah.
With the CTR?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he would always come to those. He'd travel from wherever he was from, Alabama, yeah.
He'd bring up some dudes with him.
Yeah, and a lot of those guys would, like Greg Bucell would come up with his, like, whatever 240 thing, crazy contraptions he would do, and so it was a really cool time because, like, people were pre-family.
Yeah.
So
we're all still kids.
Yeah, exactly. And so anyways, at this fall meet, it was, like we said, a little more intimate, but a lot of really nice cars. They were taking a lot of photos, and I locked my keys in my car or something stupid, or it wouldn't start. Andrew had to give me a ride in his
what happened?
Right-hand drive hatch. Yeah,
I didn't hear about this.
Yeah. He had to give me a ride down to I don't know. But anyways, Yeah, I'll never forget that one because that's the one where, so, it's getting towards the end of the meet, and, Aaron was I don't know, like to be a silly guy. So it's all kind of getting time to leave, and he takes off, and there was I think whatever, southbound entrance onto Briley Parkway or something.
Yeah.
And so when you left this park, you kind of go around this long, like, sweeping, like, left turn, and then it, like, transitions into an on-ramp.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's like, all right, hey, peace, homie, yeah, well, hit me up, whatever,
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you just hear, "Wah, bah, 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 bah." And you look over, and there's a right-hand drive 180 sideways all the way down the road, and then transitions onto the on-ramp sideways, just smoking the whole way. And that's when I was like, all right, yeah, this dude's pretty cool. It just, like, everybody stopped what they're doing, and they're like, what the fuck?
Well, yeah, that was a cool spot because actually, if you go past that on-ramp, there was, like, a roundabout, and that was, like, I don't know, one of these spots I always used to hit back in the day. But I hit the roundabout, like, whatever, 2 little runs, and then went back under the bridge, and then hit the on-ramp and slid up the on-ramp.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was
sick.
a good time.
Yeah, dude.
It wasn't my first time doing it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it didn't look it. It was like, I'm sitting over there with a 100 and something horsepower Honda front wheel drive, like, oh wow, you can do that.
Yeah.
So that was
a
sweet memory about that, and just again getting, like, pictures with my CTR and Matt Tucker's CTR, a white and a Phoenix yellow, like, in the same place with that, like, really, like, chill setting, because
and that was back when you didn't see that many.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure. Like, him and I had, like, the two really, and so that was a really cool experience. And like we said, they'd have these fall meets, and then they would have these spring meets, and the spring meets were always, at first they were small, just like the fall meets, but they grew quicker because everybody was restless from the winter.
Yeah.
Like, the spring meets just grew and grew, and shout out to Ron, Don, and Omari for literally sticking with it, like, throughout all of this, right? And like adapting to, like, everything, the change, like the climate of the scene or industry, that change, and, like, keeping up with all this and the growth, and then sustaining it. Like, major shout out to those guys for literally, like, kind of walking into this in the sense of, like, we just like cars and we want people to meet, and now we have to, like, run a business.
It's crazy.
And like,
dude,
plan.
They've 100% like stayed true,
Yeah.
like, from the beginning, like, to what it is. They haven't tried to make it something that it's not, or
right.
Like, try to make this huge change with it. But at the end of the day, it's still Import Alliance. It's chill car meet.
Right.
I think they made it better with some of the motorsports events they have going on with the drifting and time attack and stuff. I think that just made it better.
Oh, for sure. And now it's like, quote unquote, like, multifaceted, right? Like, it's just like so many different pieces. Like, that first year at Nashville Super Speedway, you, like, walk around, it takes you forever to check out all the cars.
Yeah.
And sure, you can watch the racing, you check out the vendors. And there was also Mobile Dyno that they were doing runs on all day.
I forgot about that.
Right outside the pits or whatever. So
I forgot who that was, but they did have that out there.
Yeah, so I mean, you could do, like, some stuff, but now they've just, like, I don't know. Like, now they've just, like, turned it into something else where, and I know this year for sure they've turned it into, like, before it had already reminded me kind of that scene in Fast and the Furious at night when they're at Race Wars, where it's like everybody just looking at each other's car, or like, it kind of reminded me of that. Like, Race Wars was like they were doing a race, and then they were all just checking out each other's cars.
Right.
There was no car show, there was vendors, like that type of stuff, some aftermarket support.
Right.
But now where they're doing it at night, man, I think it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be sick.
So, one more of those memories, the spring meet. Okay, I don't remember what year this was, 2011 or something.
I think so.
Yeah.
2010, 2011, maybe 20,
2010.
maybe even 2012.
No, I wasn't there in 2012. I had left. So, uh, either way, we. Oh no, maybe it was.
You did fly in.
I flew
yeah.
in. Yeah,
Yeah.
because, um, yeah. So, anyways, we met up with the PGK guys.
Yep.
We and shout out Keenan. This guy, if you know who Keenan Green Thang, he is like just the naturally funniest guy ever.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Right.
so
Yeah,
we
no,
meet
that
up
dude's
with
cool.
these guys. Yeah, we meet up with these guys, and we're in a Suburban, and we're like filming and whatever, doing stuff, and we're following them down, and all of a sudden like they pull over, and we're like, what? And Keenan lost his transmission drain plug. He had no
on the interstate.
Yes,
dude.
on the interstate. It was just flying out. We luckily somehow pulled over at the exit where there was an Acura dealership, and they had one. Remember?
Yeah.
We had to drive and go get it, but it was right before. So they bring it back. They bring the fluid. Like, that was a huge mess. It held us back like 3 or so hours.
Yeah.
Just off the rip, and then on the way down, because it's in Atlanta at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Yeah.
Which, think about that. That's a huge place.
Yeah, that place is huge
It's
too.
freaking huge, dude. And they're filling Atlanta Motor Speedway with,
Right.
like, holy crap, dude.
It's
So
wild.
we go down. We end up literally in traffic for 8 hours. Like, at one point, everybody was outside of their vehicles just hanging out on the guardrail because it was not moving for that long.
That was wild.
It was wild, yeah. And so we ended up missing this pre-meet that we were going to do.
Yeah.
And, so back up real quick. At all of these meets, what I was going to say earlier, the night in between, or the night before, or if it's a 2-day, the night in between, stuff is crazy.
Yeah.
Everything is crazy. And a lot of people book at the same La Quinta or the same two La Quintas. For whatever reason, back then it was always the La Quinta. At this spring meet, we had it was almost the whole La Quinta hotel rented out by all Import Alliance
Right,
people.
the entire parking lot was filled with.
It was
with cars.
the bad,
Dude, so sick.
It was Import Alliance was cool, but it's hot as fuck, and it's kind of overwhelming sometimes. But this is all the baddest cars at night in this parking lot with a Briley Parkway on-ramp right in front of it.
Yeah.
So everybody just takes turns all night doing runs up and down Briley Parkway, running each other. The parking lot's a car show. We got the whole hotel pretty much. So we go up to the top floor. And mind you, this spring meet is on 420. It is on 420. Don, what? Come on, man. Come on. So we go up to the top floor, and this whole hotel is smoked out.
Yeah.
No exaggeration. Foot-long joints, dabs, all this stuff everywhere. All the rooms, all the doors were open.
Yeah,
There's
dude, it
people
was crazy.
partying everywhere. It was they couldn't do anything because they were so overwhelmed by how many of us there were.
It was insane. It was
it was our place for the night. That is one of my most memorable for sure.
Right, it's like a hotel party you see in a movie or something.
Yeah, if we
so insane.
If we had phones like we do now.
I know.
Oh man,
dude,
it
probably would have got shut down.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so this is the dude with the Ariel Adam was there.
Oh,
you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the
Hood Rich Lambo.
The Hood Rich Lambo dude. Yeah. These are some really good memories, right? Because they didn't just include cool cars, they included cool people. And so when I read at the beginning the Import Alliance mission statement or their, what makes us different, it's it's literally true. They would bring together some of the dopest dudes and chicks and whatever, and everybody would coexist. Didn't really matter. There is no sort of competition. There is no.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's no competition, so it's it makes it way more just I don't know, chill, and just laid back, and just there's no reason to be tense about this. It's not a car show. You're not getting
Right.
judged. I'm sure people are judging you.
Yeah, yeah.
But but
Yeah,
no
for
one's
sure.
no one's. It's not a competition.
Right.
So
So
that makes
like
it way more chill.
at
Like, just
these
that.
hotels, at these restaurants, these cruises, like, it is a broad range of people, levels, cars, abilities,
Yeah.
and it all like comes together, right? Like it's like, oh, you're in the cars, you're cool, you're trying, sweet, let's
Yeah.
go. So I think they really have done a good job of like fostering the whole like, I don't know, good vibe, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the vibe at one of those is like, I mean, I've never seen anyone get in a fight.
Yeah, no,
I've
no.
never seen any like
anything like that,
anything
right?
like that. You know?
I mean, and like we said, we're talking thousands of cars.
Yeah.
Like
Thousands of people.
like everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you also, like we said, you got vendors, you have like people trying to market their brand, you have
Right.
people that have spent their last dime getting there to like put on for all of these attendees. So it really is a great opportunity, I think, for people to just come together. So this year, though, they are changing it up. They now call the summer meet the family reunion. And I would say that's because obviously they're from Nashville.
Yeah.
So it's
Makes sense.
Yeah. And they are doing it at night.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
What do you
sweet.
think about that?
That's gonna be sweet. Like being at Nashville Super Speedway under the lights is like, why not?
Yeah.
Like, why would you do that? It's it's Nashville in the middle of summer. Like, you don't want to be outside during the day.
Yeah, and I think they probably really saw, whether it was weather patterns, complaints, drop in attendance,
Yeah.
that maybe the daytime in Nashville and
Right.
the end of July is just not it, right?
Yeah, yeah. And plus, I think in the last couple of years, the venue, the Super Speedway, has changed ownership as well. So I think
see.
that might have a little
Maybe
bit to do
they're a
with
little
it.
more
'Cause I've seen
flexible and want things like
Right. Because I have seen a couple other different events happening at night there where they haven't before. So,
yeah, that's
but it's
cool.
still it's a cool thing. I think that itself is gonna bring out more people, I'd imagine.
Oh, for sure. Like, and again, it's like people want to have a good time. They want the experience. The cars are cool. Like,
Yeah.
hell yeah, we all know the cars are sick.
Yeah.
But the experience is what gets us at the core, right? That's what
Right.
really like hits us. So I think, Don and Amari really this year realized like, let's expand the experience because we've expanded the car part
Yeah.
as much as we can, right? Like now we have to really like tune that package that we're offering. And
Right.
so with that this year, like we said, is Friday and Saturday night. They say that they're having drag racing, roll racing, a drift session, burnouts, DJs, and they have like a gaming center and other programming based around motorsports and fun.
Holy shit.
Yeah, like
It's a lot.
damn, it sounds sick. I mean,
Sounds like a party.
but like what's the capacity of the super speedway, right? In that sense, like
Right.
how do you keep all these people engaged?
Right.
Dude, that's a challenge.
Yeah.
Like that's a challenge. Like keeping 5 people engaged is a challenge.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hats off to them for like continuing to try to keep it fresh and not just like the same,
Yeah.
the thing that I think would be dope, like, and like, I mean, feel free to steal this idea, Dawn. Like, it's cool. But I don't know what the laws are, but having like a fireworks display on Saturday night at the end,
Yeah.
I think would be dope. Just like cap it all off with like this dope display.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for where they're going with it.
Yeah, it's
mean-
it's cool. I mean, it's been very cool to see the whole growth of it from back in the
progression.
day and
Yeah, for
to
sure.
now. I mean, it's the same but so much different and
Yeah.
so much better.
Yeah, and like these guys aren't like living off these shows. These guys are putting in these, like, they have a job, but
Yeah.
then they're also putting in the extra work
Yeah.
to get these shows to pop off like this.
Yeah.
Like, those are the type of people that we need in this industry, that it's not like, oh, well, we don't need to do this event because we're not going to make 100 million.
Right.
You know, it's like, well, no, we need to do this event because this is what's helped driving the engagement in this industry and not letting it just like disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm sure they have the most pride in what they've done.
yeah, they should.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah. If they don't,
would.
they definitely should, because
Yeah.
they've created a whole thing
Yeah.
for the people.
Much respect to those three for sure. So speaking of that respect, Don was gracious enough to offer us a little bit of space at this year's event.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And we were just like super honored when he offered that.
Oh yeah.
Super.
Super honored.
No, for real, because, you know, we are just doing this just for fun, right? Just
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we love it. And he noticed the passion for it and extended an opportunity. And, like, opportunities are rare like that. And so, yeah, we're definitely pumped. Unfortunately, Aaron has to be responsible
Yeah.
and handle some stuff here. It's hard for us both to leave at the same time. We really got lucky with Japan. So I'm going to hold down the fort, but like the fort there.
Yeah.
You're going to hold down
I'm
the
holding
fort.
down the fort here.
You're holding down the fort. I'm going to try to expand the fort a little bit,
Yeah.
because we want more people to be able to hear this. So I'm going to head down. I got a booth there. I got some guys with some right-hand drive cars that are going to be in the booth. And so, yeah, if you're going to the show, swing by. We're going to be doing some segments with different guys. New guys that I'm going to meet, and some guys that Aaron and I already know, you know, while we're there. Richie, Nashville, Coupland, Squirk, Drennan. You know,
Yeah.
we're going to have the homies on there, plus get some new guys on.
Yeah.
So
Sounds
look
good.
forward to those episodes. And, you know, we're going to keep pumping out the content.
Yeah. Trying to, at least.
Yeah, for sure. And again, if you're not familiar with Import Alliance, check them out. 3 really solid guys. And if you're at the event, swing through and find me, and we'll see what's up.
Yeah.
For now, I'm Bobby. This is Aaron.
See ya.
Peace.